Assalamu alaikum, fam. Hope you're doing fantastic. It's a beautiful, cold day. And I watched this video from one of my favorite YouTubers, Heavy Duty Country. He's a conservative, and he made a video about how in Iran there was some sort of drone, and on the wing it said something about Soleimani, and that they wanted to put Trump on trial. And apparently, he made a big deal about it. Now, I don't know anything really about Soleimani, but the thing is this. I think it's really misguided that so many American conservatives are so war hungry that they lose sight of the problems we have already here in America. Because I started really thinking about how many people give a rat's behind about anything going on in Iran. I mean, really. With all the problems that America is facing, we're on the decline. We have one of the worst, weakest presidents ever in American history, and one of the worst, ineffectual VPs that this country has ever had. And not even every county in California has clean water. We have high rates of suicide, fentanyl overdoses, and all kinds of issues facing us. We have gang members, in the inner cities just shooting all the time. Our border has problems because we have children being trafficked. We have not enough border agents to fight off the cartels. We have people building tunnels under the ground to smuggle in drugs. We have so many issues. And for any American, I feel, who's a conservative, to pretend like they really care about Iran and what they're doing is, to me, absurd. When they wake up in the morning and you say, find Iran on a map, I think we gotta start doing this with people. They'll be like, it's like, name 3 politicians from Iran. Name a city in Iran. Name anything about Iran that you know. And they're just like, well, the TV told me there's big bad guys over there and we gotta bomb them and we gotta do all this stuff. And it's like, no. Our tax dollars keep going to these weapons companies and we keep falling for it. It's weird. It's like the masculinity has been hijacked, where the men, some conservative Christian men, think they gotta go die in the sand in Iran, that they gotta go there to prove that they love the country, that's patriotism. And it's like, it seems like a drain. It seems like a setup where the really evil people who hate American liberty, who hate Americana culture, who hate goodness, want all the good men to have their morality hijacked and send them off to die for the profit of these sickly, goblin-looking politicians. And then all that's going to be left are the very feminized university boys and the city boys who, they don't have any masculinity. They're all bisexual. It just seems like we're all the healthy, righteous, raw, like grade A men. They're being led to go off into these useless wars. Follow me here, there's a certain stock of man who will go and willingly pick up a weapon and fight, right? So if he's being manipulated to go and carry out these acts, right, it's like, it's a waste. It's a waste of a human soul. It's a waste of masculinity, of testosterone, of good men. They leave children behind. They leave wives behind, right? They leave all kinds of family members behind. They're no longer a strong masculine presence in their families, right? And then we just have less good men all around, and then you have thugs coming out of prison, a bunch of criminals, gangbangers, boys growing up without no dad. He's out in the, dying in the deserts. And it's like the gangbangers, who are men who would never sign up to go to war, are there helping them to join a cartel, to join some type of illicit organization that's going to cause further cancer in society. And then we don't have enough role models because all the good soldiers have gone and died. right? And now we just have, musicians and sports players, and it's a very strange sense of masculinity. Now, a person who bounces a ball versus someone who picks up a weapon and risks their life, the type of male energy is very different. One is entertaining you, one is dying for you, right? The type of consciousness that will die for their nation is very different. We need that goodness channeled here to where fathers are back in the neighborhoods. They see the bad elements in their areas and we get them out. We have to start taking our communities back, because as the leftists say they don't want police around, they want to defund cops and take our gun rights. This means we need more men, real men, to be around to protect the neighborhoods, right? We can't have all the thugs, all the criminals buying illegal weapons, right? Because the cartels will sell them weapons in Mexico. The weapons will be smuggled in. You got an open border. The weapons is going to get in, period, right? So good gun owners who have to sign up, they register, they put their name, they go through a background check, they take classes, they go hunting. These are responsible people, right? And people like me who are members of the NRA, people who do gun education, like Colin Noir on Instagram, he's a black guy who does a lot of cool like weapons education. That's the good energy we need. The bad energy is who the leftists support, and unfortunately more conservatives are, of certain musicians who show irresponsible gun use on executing their enemies in the streets over very petty things. That's the bad part of gun ownership, and they're allowing the bad vision of gun ownership to excel in order to brainwash people into voting away their rights, while they help our soldiers to think they gotta go off to Iran to fight. And so when conservatives like Heavy Duty Country, who he doesn't like Muslims very much, so he's kind of going on the Christian rant, it just seems strange. It seems like, why would you support another war? Why would you support another useless war that is not going to benefit America at all? Let's get some peace deals with them. Let them rule their country. Let's start doing a trade deal. Okay, you export, this type of produce. We'll export this. Let's have peace. And let's turn that intense eye of anger and frustration onto our own politicians and watch out who's funneling these people, and let's fix our communities. I find it so strange how conservatives, they're letting the leftists take over the schools. They're completely dominating now, making a full headway, and they want to force medical procedures on you against your will. They're taking over. You can't even speak freely on stupid apps like Facebook and Twitter. And here you have the conservatives are like, let's get outraged because somebody wrote something stupid on a dumb drone in Iran, and this is somehow a big deal, and now we gotta go like rah 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 for Trump and let's go, fight them. This is a hijacking of morality. It's senseless, it's useless. You got thugs in Chicago executing people on the regular, and the district attorneys are not doing anything. The mayor, Lori Lightfoot of Chicago, horrible politician, just corrupt as they come, and she's doing zero to fix that, right? You don't find people getting upset about that as much as they should. It's just like it's just another day, right? Oh, those are deaths in our own country and people are like numb to it. But somebody wrote something in Arabic on a drone and oh my gosh, we gotta go do something. This is so bad. Rah, 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 let's get everybody angry. It's like, this is stupid. A grown man should not care about what some person wrote on a stupid drone that got tucked down. Who cares if they're mad that you took out Soleimani, and who cares about Soleimani? I bet you if you took a poll of Americans, they wouldn't even know what the guy looked like if you showed them a picture. You could take the picture of Soleimani and say, is this the guy who owns Ford? And then they'd be like, yeah, I think it's the guy who owns Ford. Yeah, maybe he owns Heinz Ketchup Company. People don't know. So, pretending to care about Iran at all is so fake. And this is like how you know you're being groomed for more war. We have to keep the good men in the country. We have to keep the good men in the country here to protect us. Because if we have these wimpy city boys who are hooked on drugs, hooked on pills, they're in debt, they're nihilists, they're atheists, they just hate their lives, they're miserable, they're doomers, they don't want to reproduce, they encourage Tinder culture, they don't want to be fathers, they don't even work out, they're greedy, miserly. This is not a good consciousness to inherit the nation. They cannot bear the burden of keeping our country alive. And a lot of people now, I notice, they are sad about what happened in Afghanistan. Oh, we got embarrassed. Okay. We was there for 20 years. Over 20 years. It is what it is. Pull out. Who cares? Stop using it as points against conservative, modest Islam. Okay? When we have Joe Biden talking to Cardi B, right? That is a problem. And the fact that conservatives have allowed those types of musicians to gain so much closeness to their own children shows you how they are weaker than they appear. And this is a huge threat. To me, Cardi B is more of a threat to our nation than Soleimani. Okay? Why? Because moral degeneracy is something that destroys families for generations, that takes a lot of work to repair. And somebody who encourages putting your kid to the side for fame, selling your body to men for money, who encourages harming men, encourages plastic surgery and drug addiction, to me, that is worse than some guy somewhere in Iran where no American is ever gonna visit and even find on a freaking map. You see what I'm saying? The president is highlighting a degenerate woman instead of, hey, here's a woman who just discovered something in her lab that's going to help pollution. You can highlight the good, but then they think, oh, well, she connects with the youth, so we got to highlight her. That is more of a threat. A weak president, a corrupt VP, and musicians who are immoral people being put up as role models is more of a threat than anything Iran can do to America. Again, we have to stop attacking conservative nations because fake conservatives want to walk on our skeletons for profit. It's just insane. So, do that thought experiment. Do that verbal experiment with people. Next time you hear an American conservative talk about Iran, say, can you name me 3 politicians from Iran? Can you find it on a map? When did Iran become a country? Will you ever visit Iran? Just start asking them questions and make them feel like, oh, I've been propagandized by the media, right? And snap them out. Be like, oh, do you know more people die in Chicago than any person in Iran has done in America? Right? And they say, oh, well, the people in Iran are going to kill American troops. Why are our troops there? Don't more people in Chicago kill more people than anyone in Iran could kill an American soldier? Why don't you care about that? I do, it's just, exactly. You fake outrage. Fake outrage. I don't know, fam. Just seems so predictable. So, keep your sons. Don't let them enlist. We need to have those good men who would enlist stay and protect their neighborhoods and their families.